And this is really just a quick reaction to Rubio just announcing that. Okay, so maybe you see me now. So this is just a very quick reaction to Rubio announcing that the purge of U.S.Aid has essentially been completed, that he has devastated 83% of the agency. And I think that it is really quite important to take into consideration that the devastation of U.S.Aid is not merely the retraction of development funds, but it's actually the complete cessation, if not the complete dismantling, of American both soft and hard power in parts of the world where there are very, very strong competitors, particularly coming from China and from Russia. So 83% of an agency that has parallel employment in things like intelligence, that actually handles budgets that are usually put into areas like education and health, uh, in places like Sudan or in places like Colombia, which is actually the biggest recipient of U.S.Aid in Latin America, essentially means that those regions where that money and those structures of power disappear are ones that become essentially fertile for the implantation of Russian interests or Chinese interests. And this is particularly important in the case of Africa, where Russia and China had been for a very, very long time trying to clear the territory in order to establish essentially their presence over the American one. And I think, and this is, I think, the most important part to me. I think that this is completely consistent, not with what many people think it's basically a Trumpian coup in the US, but what I think is a Trumpian dismantling, the sort of systematic destruction of the US. And I don't say this lightly. What I have in mind is that what we're seeing during the first month of the Trump operation, and God knows what is in store for us, is essentially the actual dismantling of the American state and its institutions. So we're seeing this not only in terms of development agencies with everything that is included in there. I mean, that of course includes, as I said, intelligence, issues of defense, informal power, but we're also talking about things like the transportation system, the education system. We're talking about things like healthcare. We're talking about things like, every sort of element that in the end has made the US sort of an operating institutional whole. What I think is particularly disturbing and particularly concerning about this is that what this leaves in every case is a power vacuum, and it's a power vacuum that is either formal or informal, in many cases very much formal. If you add to this the fact that within the structure of the US and in the internal operation of the US, now the country is facing a trade war which will very likely push the US into either a recession or minimally into an inflationary curve. What I think we're going to see is also a really serious episode of social and political instability. And this is sort of a deadly combination, because what we see is a country that no longer has international institutions that can guarantee it sort of presence, and now it has actually a very unstable internal operation that, as far as I'm concerned, will produce or will invite, possibly violence, and therefore or thereafter repression. I think that every day that I wake up and I look at news coming out of the US, I brace myself for one more chapter in the dismantling of the American democracy. In any case, on this very happy and auspicious note, I leave you with that, and we will talk in the next few days. Today, I will be doing a live with with well, that's a disaster. That's my memory. Okay, talk to you soon.